Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Quick info before we begin. Today's video has 2 stories and both of them have updates. Now let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit True of My Chest and it's by user True of My Chest TA. My husband cheated, so I told everyone. He has nothing right now and definitely doesn't care. I'm 7 months pregnant now, but when I was 5 months, I found out he was cheating while I was in the hospital with pneumonia. He is adopted but knows his biological family, so I told his adopted family, biological family, my friends, his friends, etc. A lot came out when I found out. I found out he cheated on every girlfriend he's had. I'm now friends with his exes, who he lied to about everything as well. He told me he wasn't in contact with them and they found out about me when his mom died and I was in her obituary because, shocker, she's my mother-in-law. He also says I ruined his life. I want to. He's hiding like a coward. He won't answer messages from anyone. He tried telling my mother that he spoke to an attorney and I made him feel guilty for not being happy when he mentioned it. That never happened. In fact, when I asked if he was cheating, he swore on his mother's grave he wasn't. A lie. He wanted his perfect wife and kids and his little girlfriend on the side. He was never going to leave me and now he's not responding to my divorce attorney. I want him out of my life since he was so unhappy, but suddenly he's too busy for the divorce he claims he wants, or at least started claiming when I kicked him out of the house. When I told him to leave because he was cheating, he told me he's been unhappy a long time and spoke to a lawyer a month ago, but didn't know how to tell me, so he cheated and lied to hide it for weeks. He wanted the baby I'm pregnant with. I didn't want another baby for 2 more years, but now that we're not together, he says it's my choice and I can have full custody. He's also mad at me because his affair partner was also cheating on her boyfriend and I told said boyfriend. Apparently, because I did that, my husband doesn't have to apologize for what he did to me because I'm trying to ruin his life and his new girlfriend's life. He said he's not sorry, he doesn't regret it, and he's accepted what he's done and I need to get over it. But he can't even say the words I cheated. He just says, you don't know my side, and I've accepted what I've done. I want him to suffer like I am, and he has no one. But I know he doesn't care because he's twisted it in his mind so that he's justified because I told everyone what he did, so clearly I'm the bad guy. If he had a side, he would tell his whole family so that they wouldn't hate him, but instead he blocks their numbers. He knows he can't lie to anyone who can ask me because I have all the proof and anything he says I can disprove, so he says nothing. Yet he insists he's not in the wrong. I really know how to pick 'em. Now I'm a single mom of 2. Well, OP, even though you didn't ask any questions or ask for advice, I'm gonna say that, okay, sure, maybe you don't know how to pick him, but you do know how to do what's right, which was to expose him and tell everyone what he was doing. It's funny sometimes the lengths a cheater would go through to try to validate their cheating, like, yeah, you know what, I cheated, but it doesn't matter because you told everyone, so that justifies it. Like, where, in which world does that actually work? Anyways, OP, I think you are doing the right thing for yourself and for your kids, so you just gotta keep moving forward. Now, most of the comments in the post were just simple comments of encouragement, so we're gonna skip all of that and move on straight to the additional information from OP's responses. And then we'll finish the story with the update. Now let's move on. Additional information from OP's comments. When we got together, I told him cheating was my hard line. No forgiveness. He said he understood because he's been cheated on. A lie. Little did I know he had a girlfriend when we got together. The sad part is that weirdly I still love him, which I hate. But I know that the man I love never existed. The man I love who sang to me on our wedding day only talked about how happy he was and how he had everything he ever wanted, etc. He never would have done this or acted like this and said those things. He was a persona and everyone fell for it. I hate him for that too. Even his family told me to never take him back. Like, his brother logged into his Facebook and made a post about what he did, so he deleted his Facebook the next morning. Lol. Their support is a big help in keeping me from breaking down and trying to fix him so my family can be whole. The funny thing is that he talks so much crap about deadbeats and cheaters and other men too, and he couldn't even wait till I gave birth or anything. I never once said no when he asked for physical affection. All his previous girlfriends found out about his cheating after they broke up, so it wasn't worth it for them. I'm the only one who found out during our relationship, made so much worse by the fact we're married and I'm pregnant. And by the way, I got a full screening when I found out I was pregnant, as that's the procedure, at least at my OBGYN, so they can catch anything that the baby might be affected by. And I was clean. Also, I believe the affair partner knew about me and they had some sort of "we both have partners so we both have something to lose" agreement, but when I first messaged her, she said, "He says that he's divorcing you and the baby isn't his." I'm going for full custody and full child support. In my opinion, it's better to have no dad than have one who doesn't care about you. My babies will still know that side of the family. They're all wonderful people. I don't know how he fell so far from the tree. They're still disgusted and disappointed, but it's almost like they were waiting for him to F everything up while hoping he wouldn't. However, his family and I have already agreed that in the future he can ask to be involved in my kid's life, but there will be requirements. I never thought about the baby trapping. It makes sense he'd cheat now thinking he's got me though. He tried for a long time to get his ex pregnant and it never happened. He said she cheated, a lie, because he was infertile. He's not though, lol, obviously. Control for sure. Hindsight is 2020. He has such a type too, that every girl I've talked to, I get along with so well. 2 of them have come to my house for bonfires since it happened. We have so many common interests that he complained about, reading, music, etc. Finally, he compared me to Amber Heard. His text: "Nah, see, what you're doing is what Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp, trying to ruin his life instead of swallowing the crap and moving on. Grow up." I told him all I did was tell the truth and he did it to himself. In another text, he hit me with this jewel: "I'm grown and accept my choices. You're being petty and a child. You've always had issues, but F you for all of this." I'm glad I have those texts for the divorce too. Eventually, I'll move on for my peace of mind, but right now, I just wish he would suffer the way he hurt me. This is petty, but it's not fair that I am in so much pain and he can do whatever he wants. Alright, so from that context, it sounds like OP is ready for some karma to be delivered to her ex, but she's solely focused on herself and her kids, which is good. We also got a few more examples of why this guy sucks so much. Anyways, it's time to move on with the update to see how this story ends, but before that, here's another one of my playlists for you to enjoy after the video. Now let's move on to the update. I wanted to say that you don't have to be healed for things to be better. Good things can still happen even if you're sad. In the last 7 months, I have gotten a pay raise at work, and come the new year, I'll be promoted and take over my own store with another pay raise. I've been going out more and enjoying myself. I have concert tickets and hockey tickets that I'm very excited about. I had my son in October, and in January I started eating healthier, and I've lost 20 pounds so far. I'm seeing someone, sort of. We are exclusive, on accident. Just kind of stopped seeing others in favor of each other, but not officially, and he makes me smile. Also, I went to the dealership we got our cars from and found out that my ex has been telling people that I cheated and was abusive. They gave me a free oil change because they felt so bad when I broke down. I proved that it was a lie and talked to them for a while. I knew he would do that, but it's nice to have proof, and it's exactly why I kept everything I had. As for my husband, the judge officially signed the divorce decree in January. I've been no contact with him since June of last year, so I wasn't getting a lot of updates there until the now ex-affair partner messaged me. I knew that his car had a repossession order on it and that he was struggling to date, but that he had found someone. He has his whole family blocked, but on Thanksgiving she messaged me that she had left him and she was sorry. I didn't message her back until this month because I just wasn't ready. But I did and found out that he's been fired from 3 jobs since I left him, and now he doesn't have her either. I do think he's seeing someone, and I think I figured out who, but I don't want to be involved even though I want to warn her. I'm torn, but I decided to let him do as he does. I think it's for the best. I feel for her, but I just don't think it's something I want to stick my nose in, and I don't want to give him a reason to reach out, since he did reach out to my mother once because he was posted in a Facebook group with a warning for other girls and decided it was me. Even then, he didn't even ask how our son was. He has never met him or seen him or asked about him. My in-laws are still my family. My grandmother-in-law calls me every week to talk to me. My aunt and sister-in-law are coming to my oldest son's birthday, so he can see his cousins on that side and they can see me. So in all, I'm doing good and he is not. But I am not official with the guy I'm seeing for a couple of reasons. I am still paranoid, anxious, and stressed. I don't fully trust my instincts. And I am aware of all of that. Better things are still happening and I am sure it will get better. I am excited to one day be fully healed and living a good life. I don't know how long that will take, but that's okay. The only thing besides all that is that he has yet to pay child support or any of the money he was ordered to pay in the divorce, so we will have to go back to court to enforce that. But I have been putting it off because I am worried about him suddenly deciding to fight for custody because he's bitter. And if I can claim he's abandoned him, I'll feel better. In my state, abandonment is after 1. Permanently neglected the child for at least 12 months and or 2. Legally abandoned the child for at least 6 months. It's only been 5 months since birth. Technically, it's been 10 because he didn't reach out while I was still pregnant either. But I want to be cautious. What's a couple more months at this point? Well, OP, even though you're not completely healed and you're still somewhat sad, you're taking all the wins that you can, and I think that's great. That's a positive for you. Additionally, your ex-in-laws sound like awesome people, so you definitely have a support network there for you. And with all of that, here's wishing you and your children the best in the future. Hopefully it all goes your way and he also starts paying up his child support. Thank you for sharing, OP, and take care. Now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning of the video, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user TWOldCat. Am I the a-hole for choosing my senior cat over my sister and potentially allowing her to become homeless? I will preface this by saying that my mother treated my sister and me differently. I was always less than, while she could do no wrong. She'd always buy my sister everything she wanted while I wore her hand-me-downs. I moved out at 18, worked through college, went no contact with my mom and low contact with my sister, and our paths diverged greatly from there. I now work in a field that pays well while she is a stay-at-home mom. I guess I never quite got over this, and while I know the main a-hole is my mother and my sister didn't really know any better, I still fester negative feelings towards both of them. Now, I found Tom in a bag as a newborn kitten. He was the only one still alive and I raised him over summer break when I was 13. Then, when school started, my mom got rid of him and I had to go to great and extreme lengths to find out where she dumped him. Took me a week to find him and we've been together ever since. For the last few months, Tom hasn't really been okay and has been slowly declining. The vet, however, based on the recent blood panel we did, was confident that he still has some life left to live and said that he's by far the healthiest geriatric cat she's seen in a while. Thus, we decided to try out surgery to improve his quality of life, even though he's 21. This surgery comes with a price tag. I'm not in the US, but it's around 3 months worth of minimum wage in my country. It won't set us back much, hardly any inconvenience, but we'll be frugal just in case complications happen. He's scheduled for Monday, fingers crossed. Anyway, my sister dropped by on Sunday, which was strange. We haven't spoken since she messaged me a Christmas message gif on Facebook. It looks like her husband jumped onto the NFT bandwagon and they're kind of broke and a few months behind on their mortgage and asked if I could help her out with the payments since they're at risk of becoming homeless. I said I'm sorry she was going through this, but this is not a good time for me either and listed the reasons above. I do not want to ever be in a situation where my cat's life depends on $100 that I cannot afford to pay. I suggested she got a job and maybe downsize or move in with our mother while they get back on their feet. She did not take this well, called me a see you next Tuesday and a crazy cat lady that's going to end up alone, plus some other nice words. I kicked her out. My mother and other relatives have been spamming me throughout the week for being heartless and caring more about an animal than my own flesh and blood. My husband says I could have just given her some cash to avoid the drama, and he's right, I could have. This is why I feel like I might be the a-hole. In the end, the main reason I chose not to help is due to my childhood baggage. Am I the a-hole? Well, OP, I'm gonna go with not the a-hole. Even though you could spare some money and you decided not to, it is your choice. I understand your husband's reasoning. I think, he's saying, well, maybe you could have given the money to avoid the grief. But I think that if you do give him the money, then you're just gonna encourage this behavior further and they're gonna start leaning on you. I mean, of course, that's just my assumption, but I've read enough Reddit stories to kind of see it could go that way as well. And regarding your extended family and their messages, they're just flying monkeys, so try to ignore them. Anyways, as a summary, not the a-hole OP. And what do you guys think? What is your judgment in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see their judgment. OKSeat4312 says, not the a-hole, and her response definitely solidifies this. Anyone who resorts to bullying doesn't deserve it. That said, next time, do not list your reasons. You say one sentence. Unfortunately, I cannot help you. You opened the door to the bullying by trying to explain why you couldn't help. You don't owe her an explanation. It's your money. Spend it the way you want. You don't need her approval or anyone else's. If she asks you why, you tell her that it's not really her concern as to why you're not helping. As far as family messages go, you can stand up for yourself by ignoring them. Refer back to the generic response if you get cornered. Stop trying to reason with a-holes. And OP responds, I guess that is something I need to work on, finding excuses for everything. Magic Susan 42 says, not the a-hole. The animal cares more about you than your own flesh and blood. The animal has been your companion. He sat on your lap and purred when you were sad. From the sound of it, you owe your flesh and blood nothing. Did you ever get an answer as to why they couldn't move in with your mom and get a job? I mean, your mom is so eager to give your money away, perhaps she could sell her house and move in with sister if she's that concerned. Or is it just your happiness and comfort that the relatives are willing to sacrifice? Good luck. Give Tom an extra pet from me, a random stranger on the other side of the internet. And OP responds, I mean, I understand her. I would hate leaving my current home just as much as she does. But I guess I sort of hold her to my standards. I've been but poor and lived. I know that she can bounce back. And yet another user that doesn't know that vowels exist says, not the a-hole. Your cat is your family. You're constant and he relies on you. Funny how other family only comes out of the woodwork when they need money. Ugh, I would stand firm just because of the C word, even if Tom was fine. She sounds like a treat, and your mom can help if she's that bothered. Block them all and focus on Tom. I hope all goes well on Monday. And OP responds, he's been with me through thick and thin. We've been together when I barely afforded the cheapest kibble and when I had to stuff him in the closet so the landlord didn't find him. Alright, well, the community agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and OP did share some cat tags with us in one of the comments. Here is Tom. And now let's go on with the update to see how this story ends. Thank you so much to all of you who have wished Tom good luck on his surgery. I'm ecstatic to let you know all went well. I was a bit cautious about providing an update as I wanted to make sure he is indeed doing better before celebrating. On the weekend leading to the big day, I bought him his favorite food, these tiny fish that in my country are generally eaten whole, fried, anchovies that he loves to gobble up raw. I only ever give those as a treat maybe a few times a year since they're not exactly healthy for cats, but I made an exception since, things could have gone terribly bad. The operation went great. The vet said there were no complications. I got him home in the afternoon and he slept it off until midnight when he started asking for food. He's been eating like he's trying to make up for the weight loss he suffered. He's also been more alert these days, started following me around again and begging for food, and it looks like he's sleeping better too. He would generally just lay awake on his cat bed all day, looking unhappy. Now he's sleeping soundly between meals. The only discomfort he has is related to the stitches on his gums, but they should fall off in a few weeks. Honestly, it's like they didn't remove only his teeth, but also chipped off a few years. I'd also like to thank all of you that called me out on using him as an excuse. You're right, I was using him as an excuse. No has never been a full sentence for me, so I am now actively looking into finding a good therapist. I still stand by my decision not to help my sister out though, and many numbers and social media accounts have been blocked. I'm thinking about leaving this account active and adding a final update in a week, a month, or a year, or whenever it's time to bid Tom farewell. But for now, he seems happy, so I've no doubt I made the right choice. Well, OP, here's hoping we don't get that final update in a really long time. Take care, OP, and all the best to you and Tom in the future. Thanks for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.